This is fun. Woo! Today on In the Woodyard, I've got saws, I've got wood. It's time to get cutting. Here we go. It is a beautiful morning here in Wisconsin. It's too bad you guys can't be here. When I got up this morning, it was 59 degrees. Beautiful morning. The bad thing is it's supposed to get into the mid-80s today. And I know for a lot of you think, oh, that's beautiful weather. No, that's hot. That's hot weather. There's no wind at all today. The trees are not moving. It's supposed to just be just a gorgeous, gorgeous day today. There's no clouds in the sky. And I've got wood here. Now, some of these pieces I probably could, there's like 2 or 3, like this one right here. This is a piece of birch, believe it or not. Somebody peeled all the wood off, all the bark off of the wood there. So, but it is birch. And there's one over there, maybe these 2 I could run through the processor. But some of the stuff is big and crotchy and crooked. Like this stuff here, this is a crooked one, that's a crotchy one. That's just a small piece, so it doesn't really pay to try to processor on that. So I've got saws and I'm gonna cut them up right now. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do it this morning while it's cool out. Now, when I get done cutting, then I'm going to split the wood right here. And then when I get done with that, then I'm gonna stack the wood right there. So this whole pile right here, which is one trailer load full from a tree service company that dropped this off just a couple days ago, because you can see there's still green leaves on here on this ash tree that they cut down. I am going to do the whole thing right now. Time to gut. Complete and total carnage. I ran one saw and one saw only, the 592. Cut all that up, and that's, I'm thinking it might be a full cord. That's about what you can usually cut with a saw. That saw was very sharp. It was awesome cutting. I just sharpened it again, and the rakers are just right. And I used my wood chuck to roll the rounds up so I could get it off the ground. But on the second to last cut, I must have picked up a stone. I hit a stone and it got a little dull. But it worked good. And that wasn't even one full tank. There's still gas in there yet, so I could have cut a couple more sticks yet, I think. It warmed up fast. Look at that. I got lactation going on again here. Whew, got hot fast. Feels good to get the chaps off and put the saw down. So that's done. Now I've brought the splitter over here already. It's right there. I'm going to wheel it right there. I'm going to move some of those rounds, put it right there, and I'm going to get the tractor. I'm going to push all this stuff over that way because I'm going to split it and let it fall right off the end because it's going to be stacked right over there. So this is fun. Woo! So there's the carnage. I wheeled the splitter over here after I opened up an area because I'm going to let it fall right off the end here. We'll stack it right here. Now, I got a little maintenance to do. I looked at my wedge and it is very blunt, and I'm getting some divots created there from these buttons that are on the push plate. Something must have changed, that the wedge must be a little more forward, or the cylinder is pushing just a hair farther out, because it used to have a little bit of like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch of space, and now it's been hitting. So you can see I've got some divots from where the buttons on the push plate are hitting it. Those little buttons there that kind of hold the wood in place, they got welded on. So I'm going to take my wedge in and I am going to do a little sharpening. We're going to put an edge on it and see if we can make it scary sharp so it'll slice through the wood easier. Hopefully I won't cut myself, but I'm going to take it in. We're going to grind it right now. So the wedge is in the vise, and as you can see, this is how they come from the factory. It's like, I don't know, somewhere over 1/16 of an inch, less than 1/8 of an inch is kind of how wide the front face of the actual wedge is. But then here's where the buttons have been hitting as I adjust it up and on. So here, those 5 spots, and then it's a little thicker down here. So I'm gonna work on this and take it down to more of a good sharp point. I got my grinder right there, so we're gonna plug her in and we're gonna do some grinding. I think we're gonna answer the age-old question: should your wedge be sharp or should it be dull? Now I know from the factory they come dull like this because they were having some injuries, guys getting cut. They were so sharp, you just brush up against them, they were getting cut. And when you're splitting wood, you really don't need a sharp point, a sharp edge to cut, because you're putting so much pressure on it. I don't think it matters that much, but there's some guys that say it matters. It cuts better if it's sharp. So this is going to be the first time I've sharpened any of my wedges. So we're going to sharpen it. We're going to see what happens right now. Here we go. I'm going to start her up and see what kind of damage we can do. There she is, shaving sharp. Still got a couple little bitty nicks there where the buttons were hitting, but overall it's pretty darn sharp. It's not, I don't know, it's really sharp up here, but yeah, looks pretty good. We'll see what happens now. So I made a mess. I got dust everywhere. I'm glad my wife's not here today because the stuff is just flying through the air. And we're gonna put it back on and do some splitting right now. There she is. All right, we're gonna slide her in. Now some of you are probably saying, oh, you should have used a bench grinder. Well, I would have used a bench grinder, but my bench grinder is that way about 7 miles at my house. And this is the grinder I had here, so that's the grinder I used. For the time it would have taken me to get there and drive back, I could have had this thing done twice. So I just worked with what I had, and that's something that a lot of guys tell me all the time, like, you should do this, you should do that, you should buy this, you should get that. All the stuff would be nice, but remember, I've got 30,000 people telling me every day what I should do and how I should do it, when I should do it, what equipment I should have to do it. I work with what I've got for the most part. Now, if you want to send me some stuff, bring it on. I'll send you my address. You can send me all the tools that exist that you want me to use. That'd be awesome if you did. Okay, now we're gonna raise this thing up, put the pin in, and we're gonna do some splitting. So it's got another button right here that stops it from sliding all the way in. So what I do is I lift it up. I can do this with one hand, and then I just pull it towards me. And then what I do is I put the bottom pin in, and I want it to go just to the first notch because I want this wedge to be as high as possible. There it is, that pin is in, and then I just have to put this small pin in, the big one, and it'll be in place. Here we go, ready to go. There we go. It's got a little bit of play. Oh yeah, that's gonna cut really good, I think. So splitting time. Actually, I think what I gotta do first is I'm gonna start the tract up. I'm gonna push all the rounds right up to the splitter right where I'm standing here. Look at that, shiny, bright. All right, I haven't been splitting now for, I don't know, half an hour maybe, something like that. That's what I would guess, half an hour, I don't know. Yeah, probably maybe 35 minutes. And I'm a little over halfway done. And I'm gonna give you my impressions of the sharpened knife, wedge, cutter on the splitter. It's sharp and it does make a difference, but you do have to be careful. I slid my arm across. It's not a big wound, but I just barely touched it and I got a cut on my arm. I reached across. I didn't even think I hit it and I looked down and I was bleeding. But yeah, it's sharp, so you got to be careful. So there's that. Now I get it. It's the worst part is right on this tip right here because it's so easy. You reach across to grab something and that tip is right there. I might take that tip off actually because that's where I got cut right there. So that little tip I might just get rid of. Now, one of the things that I really like about having the sharp wedge is if you get a piece that's like this, that's crooked, when you go to put it in to the splitter and you put your flat end back here against the push plate and you got that wedge up here, it catches really nicely right there because you got that angled piece. It catches real nicely. There's no sliding at all. So it's instant cutting. The other thing I really like is when you've got a knot. Now this is one of the last ones I just cut here. It sliced through that like nothing. And here's another one it cut through, you can see, because there's a branch coming here, so the knot was down there. And it just cuts right through it like butter, like nothing. It didn't struggle at all, so it cuts much better. So especially I'd have to say on this ash, this tree service wood where there's crotches, it slices really nice. So the verdict is, in my opinion, sharpen your wedge. There it is. She's all shiny and bright and everything. And it definitely cuts better, but you gotta be careful. You're not gonna get cut yourself. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sharpen up my wedges. The thing that I'm hesitant about is with the 4-way on this splitter, not so much on the processor. The processor, I don't think it'll be an issue, but on the 4-way, if I get it really sharp and I get a crotchy piece and I try to shove it through there, I think it's gonna cut into it, but it might not have enough power to push it through because this isn't that big of a splitter. Probably on the bigger splitters where there's a lot more power, it wouldn't be an issue at all. You can just power right through it because you can probably cut the wood sideways on a big splitter. So it might be an issue on a smaller splitter with not a lot of power that you're gonna just drive that wedge in. Like when you got an axe and you hit really hard and you get a knot down there and you get that axe just really deep, but it doesn't split and you get it stuck and you got to just about break the handle off to get it off. That might be an issue. But like a lot of you have seen before, I use the chains. I wrap it around the push plate up here and then around the piece of wood you can just back off the wedge, the push plate, and you can pull the wood off. So there's that. So I'm going to get back to splitting now. Here we go. Splittage is complete. The cutting and splitting are all done. So now I'm going to stack all this. And so far I've been at it for about 2.5 hours. And it usually takes me about an hour to stack. So we'll see how that goes. And then we'll give you the total time and then we'll figure out how much I have. And then we'll figure out how much wood that I have as far as dollars worth. And then figure the time out and figure my dollars per hour. I think you're going to be surprised at what tree service wood can do. Because I didn't have to go anywhere, I didn't have to cut the trees down, I didn't have to load any rounds, I didn't have to do anything other than cut, split, stack. It's all right here. And I didn't pay anything for it either. So my cost of materials is going to be pretty low. My cost of operating, which is, gas, I always figure a little bit, about 10% for gas, depreciation, equipment, stuff like that. So we'll figure it out in a little bit. So stacking right now. So now I have my stacking hat on. Now this isn't like an official stacking hat. I just wear it when I stack and when I don't have my earmuffs on, because I found that when I try to wear my earmuffs, the sides are it doesn't work really good, so you got to flip them up. And so when I'm splitting, if I'm running the saw, I got earmuffs on, so it doesn't work really good to wear this hat. And so what I do is I put this switch to this one. For those of you that haven't seen it yet before, this is a Mission brand. I'm not affiliated anyway. I got two hats for my birthday, and they have a foam on the inside, and they got a little thickness to them on the side, and they're vented, but they're made so you can get them wet. And this one's soaking wet now. I just poured half a bottle of water on it and squished it down, and you put it on. It's really nice and cooling. Lasts about an hour and a half, something like that, and you get it wet again, sometimes 2 hours. If you're out in the sun, it goes a little quicker, but it keeps you much cooler. Now, it's not a super hot day today, so I don't need to have the canopy up like I've been doing, but still having this on is really nice. It just really cools your body off quite a bit. So stacking happens right now. What we've got here is a stack of wood. Stacked wood, that's what we've got. So I just measured, and there's a little over a full cord, because I had a little bit there when I started with, which is about what's here. And this is about 9.5 feet out to the edge here. So it's a little over a full cord. So we'll just say it's a full cord. And so far I've got about maybe 3 hours and 15 minutes into it, maybe 3.5, something like that. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up. I have another half hour into that, and that means that, just say I had a total of 4 hours into it, and if it's a full cord and I sell it for $330 for a full cord, if you take off, I usually take off like 10% just to cover costs, so gas, oil, maintenance, parts, stuff like that. So say about 300 bucks. 4 hours, that comes out to $75 an hour. Yep, free wood, and it's perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with it, other than I got a little bit of waste. So buying wood, when I buy my logs and I cut it, split it, stack it, deliver it, I generally make $45 an hour, something like that. So tree service wood pays, just saying. Okay, now we're gonna get cleaned up. Well, folks, there it is. The wood is cut, split, stacked. About 4 hours total, give or take 10 minutes, I don't know, something like that. Got it all raked up, it's all good. So that was one load of tree service wood that I got for free, and it's about $330 worth of wood, and I'm gonna make about $300 profit on 4 hours worth of work. But I gotta deliver it yet, so you got about a half hour there of throwing it in and going and driving and dumping it. So $70 an hour, I don't know, something like that. It's pretty good money. So the moral of the story is, tree service wood, good. Sharp wedge on the splitter, good. Great day in the wood yard. Come on back tomorrow. I'll be here at 5:30 a.m. If you can't wait that long, go to my channel. There's over 800 videos waiting for you to watch now. Good night, Irene.